Any bumps and bruises that you know of from last night?
Yes, we have a couple that we're going to assess this morning. Alfredo's took a kick in the calf area that we'll look at this morning, and also Ryan Jack in a similar area as well. So we'll have a look at them this morning. I don't think they're too serious, but they're definitely something that needs looking at today.
You don't get much time, of course, you know, and you turn your attention to Kilmarnock on Sunday. What's your thoughts going into that game? The chance to go 9 points clear of Celtic at the top?
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, as you said, Ronnie. We have to remain focused. We have to move on very quickly from last night's performance and win, and switch our attention to a tricky game over at Rugby Park. But we'll be ready. We're in a good place. We're in good form. Players are happy, staff are happy, and we'll go over there and give it our best.
Morning, Stephen.
Morning.
Confirmed this week by UEFA that Scottish football would have 2 Champions League places next season, 5 in Europe overall. How proud are you that the Park Rangers have played and helping secure those places, and how important is it for the league to have 2 Champions League places season in, season out, I guess?
Yeah, I think we're all very proud here at Rangers, the job we've done from a European point of view since we've came in, but we need to try and continue to push and keep improving that ourselves and everyone else who's representing the country from a European point of view. But it's fantastic for the country that there's extra places, but at the same time all the teams have to continue to keep trying to do as well as they can to maintain their positions, because as quick as they come, or as hard as we've had to work for them to come, they can be taken away as well.
Morning, Stephen.
Morning.
Against a side as compact and organised as Killie tend to be at home, what are the key things you'd be looking for from Rangers at the weekend to get the 3 points?
I think first and foremost we have to make sure who's available today first and foremost, and then we'll decide on a team that we think is capable of going there and getting the 3 important points that we need. I think when you're playing against the block, you have to have variety in your play. Of course you do. Obviously don't want to give too much away, but it's important you move the ball very quick and you have variety in your play, so you're not predictable and not everything's in front of the Killie defence. We have to go over at times, you have to go round, you have to make sure that when your opportunities come that you're really clinical and you execute, because Killie are a team that are well drilled, they're organised and they don't give much away. I think the pitch certainly helps them to play that way as well. So we know it's a tricky game, we know it's a tough place, and we know that our record could and should be better over at Rugby Park, but it's another fresh game, it's an opportunity to go there and try and put in a good performance. We're going there, we couldn't be in a better place really, because our form's good at the moment, people are healthy, people are fresh, and people are ready.
Hi Stephen, how much of a psychological advantage would it be to go 9 points clear at this stage in the season, do you think?
I don't think we're really too concerning ourselves with psychological advantages and where the tables are and what we can do. We're just taking each game as it comes. There's 3 points available. We want the 3 points. We're hungry for the 3 points. I think it'd be different if you could have the opportunity to go there and be 9 points clear with no games in hand. You're talking about Celtic here in this instance, who are a good team, who are capable of going on big runs. We're still in October. It's very early days for us to be getting carried away or getting ahead of ourselves. We've started the season very well. We're happy where we are, but the focus is very much on us and what we can do, and we take each game as it comes.
Even the country is now being divided up into different areas in terms of COVID tiers. There's a chance that some areas of the country might have the opportunity to get fans back into the ground sooner than others. If that was the case, do you feel it would be fair from a kind of playing perspective if, for example, teams in one part of the country were able to get supporters back in, where if others weren't?
I think for the sake of the game and for the sake of football, I'll try and answer the question without me Rangers hat on. I think it's fantastic for the game that we can get supporters back in whatever stadiums it's safe to do so. There's a lot of teams and owners that are under financial strain at the moment, so I think it'd be a real positive if we can see fans back in whatever grounds it's possibly safe to do so. And I think if your area, for example, is not allowed, I think you just have to accept that and get on with it for the short term and the time being.
Hi Stephen, just on Liam Balogun's performance last night, how pleasing is it as a manager to be able to sort of rotate between your centre backs, and it hasn't obviously impacted results? is it sort of fair to say that you've sort of found the perfect blend between your centre backs in the squad?
I like to have four centre backs in the squad. I like to have different types of centre backs and to try and cover all bases for different types of games. Leon's come in and settled in really quickly. We knew he was a top player. Spoke to Paul Cook in detail about him when he was his manager at Wigan. I know Cookie very well. He's an international player. He's very quick, got a fantastic profile, a profile that we like in that area. And he's come in and settled in very quickly and been putting in some real consistent performances. Leon's one that we have to manage in terms of his body. You know, he's had some injuries in the past where he needs looking after. The same with Hollander from last year. We lost him for 3 months, which hurt us a lot. So it's about managing the individual players in terms of physically. But from their point of view, they all have to be ready to perform because, you know, 4 doesn't go into 2. So they have to make sure that their form's there and individually they're performing consistently to stay in the team.
Morning, Stephen.
Morning.
Last season you spoke about viewing games in blocks when you were looking at the matches in between international fixtures. I was just wondering, like, given you've got a good record after European games, how do you manage the different styles going from a Thursday game to a Sunday game when, you know, the type of game can be very different? How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think that is one of the biggest challenges up in Scotland, especially when you're involved in Europe, is the contrast of games can be very different. The environments can be very different as well. Obviously, you have to take the travel into consideration, but I think over the last 2 years, certainly, and the start of this season, the majority of this squad know us now as a staff very well. And they know the schedule and they know the contrast of games. It's something that we've spoke about in great detail and at length about the mentality and how quick you have to change the thinking and maybe change the tactical side of it as well. I think at times, certainly in the first season, we struggled to adapt to that. But you know, the signs are that we're learning from the experience and we're getting used to, and you know, a lot of the information that we give the players, we've given them it before. So it's not as if we're starting from a fresh slate and we've only got 48 hours to prepare. The players will know the difference from Lech Poznan to Killy and what needs to be adapted and changed in terms of our game plan.
Morning, Stephen. Just following on from Craig's question, and I remember you speaking in September about your depth at centre back, and you'd said you'd try and find a way to give Connor Goldson a rest. He's started every game since then, but with his form at the moment and his influence in the team, has he almost made himself undroppable?
No one's undroppable. I think that's important for you to know. But you know, I think Connor has proved over the time that we've been together that he's very robust. He can chain games out. His body is used to that now. I think Connor's someone, certainly with the heart issue he had back in his career, that is desperate to make up for lost time in terms of playing. He doesn't like to be offloaded or rested. But I'm certainly more confident if I wanted to do that now that we have the players that could cope. But I'm really happy with Connor. I think he's in a fantastic place physically and mentally at the moment. He's becoming a leader. His communication's better. So I don't see any reason right now to drop him or rest him or offload him because he's in such a good place.